Yeah, I wanted to show you guys how to check the fluids on a 98 Mitsubishi Mirage. Right now I have it running. I've shifted a couple of times because the first thing we're going to check is the transmission fluid. So the way we check that, you should probably get a light on so you can see everything that I'm doing. And I hope you can hear me over the engine. But anyway, so we're standing at the engine here. To the right is the transmission down below. To the left is the engine, front wheel drive, and you probably already know that. You look right in front of the filter there, there's your fill tube. You're going to check this fluid again while it's running, and it should read right at the full mark. If not, you need to add. For every 2 lines is 1 quart. So I don't know if you can see those lines or not, but from that line to that line is 1 quart, and etc. So that's how you know how much fluid to add. Where do you add it? In the exact same location of where you're filling it. So let me shine the light down there. You see me pull that little white dipstick out right there to the right of the light. That's where you put the fluid as well. So that's how you check the transmission fluid. These transmissions on this vehicle have an external filter. That's the filter right there. It looks just like an oil filter, but it's not. That's for your transmission. These vehicles should have the transmission fluid changed about every 8,000 miles. Or, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's 12,000 miles. Let me shut that off. 12 to 15,000 miles you should change the transmission fluid. Every 3,000 miles you should change the oil. So that's your transmission fluid. Again, they're so often that's why the filter is external. You don't have to drop the pan to do these. So that's how you do them. Now, as far as the oil goes, your dipstick's here to the left of the engine in front, between you and the engine. You pull up the dipstick, and this one's not going to read crap right now because it's running and needs to drop back down into the pan. But I will show you anyway exactly where it should be. Right there at that second little nick, it's actually full. Right there is where the full line is. In between that nick and that nick is 1 quart. Prior to that is 1 quart below. So if you're 2 quarts low, it's not going to show on the dipstick. It's not going to show anything. So that's where you check the oil. If you are low on oil, let me show you where to put that oil. Right there on top of the valve cover. Pull that cap. And that's where you pour it in, right on top of the valves. Power steering on this vehicle has an external canister. The pump is down here. The hose is up here. Let me turn that light. Oh, you can see it. So we're just going to pop that lid. We're going to check the transmission fluid. It too has a dipstick. I'm sorry, not the transmission fluid, power steering fluid. There's a minimum and a maximum. Turn it that way so you can read it. So just make sure that that's up to the maximum, which that one is. If not, add some fluid. Okay, and your brake fluid. Here's the chamber for that. Again, we're at the front of the engine on the right hand side, right there, that big white cap right next to your air breather. Pour that open, and that is low. The reason that that's low is because the brakes are probably needing to be changed. As the brakes wear and they get thinner and thinner, more space is made up to push that pedal down. Therefore, less fluid is in the chamber, or in the canister. So this tells me that the brakes are probably needing to be changed. There's a little piece of metal tab that's flopped over on that brake that will squeal when you absolutely need to change it. But in this case, we're just going to add some brake fluid. That takes .3 brake fluid. So that's pretty much all the fluids, other than your radiator, of course. Just make sure that's about halfway full because you need room for expansion. And your windshield wiper fluid, make sure that's completely full. So that's all of the fluids on a 98 Mitsubishi. Hope I helped you out. Enjoy.